In almost every workplace, sooner or later, something goes wrong. A mistake is discovered, a deadline is missed, a customer is unhappy, a process fails. And then comes the familiar question: who owns this? The answer is often silence, or deflection, or a sentence you've probably heard before: "That's not really my area." This isn't limited to corporate offices. It happens in hospitals, government departments, retail stores, logistics depots, factories, schools, and construction sites. The ownership problem is not about laziness, it's about systems. And in many modern organizations, those systems are designed in ways that quietly discourage ownership. In small businesses, ownership is obvious. If you run a small cafe and a customer is unhappy, the owner knows immediately. The consequence is direct. The feedback is instant. In a small workshop, if a machine fails, the person responsible feels it immediately, in lost time, lost output, lost income. Smaller systems create clarity. But as organizations scale, clarity dissolves. Roles specialize. Departments multiply, reporting lines branch, and ownership becomes abstract. When many people are involved in an outcome, responsibility spreads thin. This is sometimes called diffusion of responsibility. But in organizations, it's not just psychological, it's structural. Consider a hospital. A patient's treatment may involve a triage nurse, a junior doctor, a specialist, a pharmacist, administrative staff, or a discharge planner. If something goes wrong, responsibility doesn't sit in one place. The same is true in freight logistics. A delayed shipment might involve warehouse staff, scheduling software, truck drivers, maintenance teams, or a third-party contractor. Each part works within its scope. No single person owns the entire outcome. When everyone touches a process, no one fully owns it. Ownership carries risk. If you take responsibility for a problem, you also absorb blame if it fails. In many organizations, risk is personal, but rewards are collective. Imagine a government department. An employee identifies a flaw in a policy implementation. Fixing it would require challenging another division, escalating to management, possibly admitting fault. The personal risk is clear. But what is the reward? Often, none. When incentives reward caution and punish visible failure, the rational response is risk avoidance. And risk avoidance looks like, "That's outside my remit." Modern organizations optimize for efficiency. Roles become specialized. Key performance indicators, KPIs, become narrow. In retail, a store manager might be measured on sales targets. Customer service staff might be measured on call times. Warehouse workers might be measured on dispatch speed. Each metric optimizes a fragment, but no one is measured on the system as a whole. When customer service agents are penalized for long calls, they prioritize speed over resolution. When transport contractors are paid per delivery, they optimize routes, not necessarily system resilience. Ownership shrinks to what is measured. Everything else becomes someone else's problem. Ownership requires authority, but frontline workers often lack it. In a supermarket, an employee might see a layout problem or pricing confusion, but pricing is controlled by head office. Layout is decided by central planning. Policy is set elsewhere. The employee may care, but cannot act. Over time, when people see that raising issues changes nothing, they disengage. Ownership doesn't disappear overnight. It erodes. Many large organizations use matrix structures. Employees report to more than one manager. Projects cross functional teams. Responsibilities overlap. This creates flexibility, but it also creates ambiguity. If two departments share a process and something fails, each may assume the other is accountable. The result is not incompetence, it is structural ambiguity. Modern systems often rely on layered outsourcing. A city contracts waste collection, a hospital contracts cleaning services, or a retailer contracts logistics. When outcomes depend on multiple independent organizations, ownership becomes contractual rather than personal. Each party fulfills its defined obligations. But who owns the outcome? Sometimes no one does. We often frame ownership as a moral issue. People don't care anymore, or employees lack initiative. But consider the structure. If taking ownership increases risk, authority is limited, metrics are narrow, rewards are weak, blame is individual, then reluctance becomes rational. In that context, "not my job" is not a character flaw, it is a system response. Ownership tends to remain strong where feedback is immediate, consequences are visible, authority matches responsibility, and rewards align with outcomes. This is why small teams, startups, and owner-operated businesses often feel different. The loop is shorter. In large systems, feedback loops lengthen, and ownership fades. The absence of ownership creates friction, small problems escalate, and customers feel ignored. Internal issues bounce between departments. Energy shifts from solving problems to protecting boundaries. Over time, organizations compensate by adding more reporting, more documentation, more compliance layers, which increases complexity and further dilutes ownership. It becomes self-reinforcing. Modern organizations are more sophisticated than ever. They use advanced analytics, complex software systems, and layered management frameworks. Yet many struggle with a basic question: who owns the outcome? Ownership does not disappear because people care less. It disappears because responsibility, authority, risk, and reward are no longer aligned. The next time something goes wrong at work, whether in a hospital, a warehouse, a retail store, a government office, or a corporate department, ask yourself this question: who owns this? If the answer is unclear, the issue may not be cultural, it may be structural. And when everyone is responsible, no one is.